it almost tied me tighter to the mountains for having this happen to me, being the one that was there. Why was it my job to go up through the notch that day? Because normally one of the other guys did the Saturday routine. And Cynthia and I got in the truck and did our routine, which meant that we had all our waysides. You drive through and stop and pick up trash and check things out, make sure things are in order. And the clouds were just clearing off of Lafayette, so we had the shadows going across Cannon Cliffs. And I said to Cynthia, wow, look at that. That's pretty neat. You can watch the clouds roll right across. The next stop is the Old Man Viewing northbound. And we pulled in the usual spot, which is about in the middle, and get out of the truck like we always do. And I was driving. Get out of the truck, and my first thing that I always do is turn around, shut the door, and I look up at the old man. And both of us actually stepped to the side to see if we had, for some crazy reason, parked in the wrong place and couldn't see his profile, and that's impossible because that's the spot. And it was quiet for a minute and just kept staring up at it, knowing he's not there. And at that point, as you know, as a park employee, you're thinking, you know, what should I do next? I just can't believe this is happening. So at that point, your adrenaline's up and you're thinking, we've got to tell somebody because this is just, he's gone. And we said that for the whole 5 miles back to the flume, he's gone. He's gone. And as the day went on, it was surreal. It was, of course, we had media here. But from that day until this, you look up and he's not there. It's okay, you know, we lost him, but we'll never forget him. And he's still a symbol of what we are now. And you think, yeah, that's us. That's what we're about. And we do. We certainly, New Hampshire, we take a pride in that. Live free or die, yeah, we do. We have attitude. You know, we're tough like granite. We might be headstrong like granite, but it gets us through. And we certainly are unique, for sure.
I guess I'll always be the second caretaker of the old man, my dad being the first. Our family is still involved in the Legacy Fund and in trying to find ways to memorialize the old man and trying to get it across to future generations what the old man meant to the state of New Hampshire and meant to the people who live here. I would liken the debris field to the battlefield of Gettysburg or to Wounded Knee or to an area like that where a terrible death occurred. The time that we spent in the debris field that morning was a very rainy, drizzly morning, foggy. Half a dozen of us were standing around trying to decide what to do and where to go. All of a sudden the fog lifted. And as the fog lifted, you naturally looked up to see the fog lifting. And as you looked up, you looked at where the old man used to be. Not a word was spoken. The fog closed back in again, and everyone looked back down. It was probably the most eerie feeling I have ever had in my life when that happened. I was in the process of choosing a replacement for me. I was getting ready to retire as the chief of police, and I received a page from my dispatcher, and she knew that I was very busy and not to interrupt me, so I knew that it must be something very serious. So I called her back, and she said, you need to call the dispatcher from Grafton County Sheriff's Department as soon as possible. What happened? I don't know. So I called the dispatcher from Grafton County, and Mr. Nielsen? Yeah. Are you the Mr. Nielsen that takes care of the old man? Yeah. We've received a report that the old man has fallen. And I said, okay, did you send anybody to check it out? Because in the past we had had prank phone calls similar to that. He said, I have a deputy on the way and he's about to sign off there. And just then I heard the deputy sign off at Cannon Mountain. And he came back on the air and said, it has indeed fallen. And at that point in time, it was as tragic as you could imagine. My heart was just ripped out of my chest. But I knew there was nothing that I could do up here. I finished what I was doing. I came to the old man several hours later. In the process, I tried to get in touch with Debbie and let her know she was out of state. And even as I pulled into the parking lot across the street here to look up at the old man, I still wasn't sure. And then I opened the door and looked, and there was no doubt that the old man was gone. The old man had fallen. I went to the area where the helicopter was lifting out of, and the dignitaries and VIPs were flying to the old man's site. And met up with a couple people who had spent a long time caring for the old man with me. We got in the helicopter and took a ride up to see what was left of the old man's face. And it became brutally apparent at the time that the old man had died, and I needed to move on with that next chapter of my life that I was not prepared to do.